My name is David Nash. I'm from the Shepherd School. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to take bulk food and put it in long-term storage. So let me show you what we're going to store today. Here's the bulk food. I've got some of it from a farm, some of the stuff from a warehouse store like Costco or Sam's. Alright, the way that we're going to store it, let me show you the supplies we're going to use. First thing we're going to use is these Mylar bags. Mylar is an aluminum metal foil that's been bonded to plastic, and it makes an airtight seal. A lot of people store their stuff in 5-gallon bags in 5-gallon buckets, and that's great. I've done that. The problem for me is you open up a 5-gallon bucket of wheat, you got to use it all or reseal it. But I figure if I use gallon bags, I could put more than one type of commodity in a bucket, and then when I need, I could refill the stuff in the kitchen from a gallon bucket, and I don't have to worry about waste. The buckets I use are food grade plastic. I got these from bakeries around the area. We also have, to seal these Mylar bags, we've got an iron. Now inside the Mylar bags, we put oxygen absorbers, or O2 absorbers. What these are, they're little packets that have a chemical in there. When the chemical is exposed to oxygen, it causes a reaction inside these packets. It gets a little hot, but it sucks up air. Okay, now that we've went over the equipment, we'll show you how we're actually going to do this today. A 5-gallon bucket holds 3 of these gallon bags. Pretty good, just like the 3-gallon bucket holds 1. When we put them in, we spread them along the outsides of the bucket. The reason that we do it this way and we fill them up in the bucket is so that the food will compress along the outside and spread the bags out. If we filled these bags up outside and then we tried to force them back in, we'd have a lot of dead airspace. But by filling it up in here and continually pressing and tamping it down, it will be a better use of our storage space. So what we do is we get a scoop of the beans or whatever we're putting in there. We put a scoop in each bag, try to start to flip it over. And we do this equally in order to try to keep everything spread out. If we filled up one bag and then try to fill up another, we'd have a lot of dead air space. And space is a premium when we do this. You gotta be real careful. Those that know me know I might not be the most coordinated person, but if you spill too much food outside of these Mylar bags, it leaves a smell for the animals. So you want to try to keep the bag as clean as possible on the outside. And it gets a lot easier as we go, because if you see, they stay a lot better open now that they've got some in there. So we just continue on. 1 scoop per bag. We keep filling it up. And as we go, we're going to kind of tamp the stuff down, press down, try to fill up as much of the empty spaces inside the bucket as possible, while keeping everything as equal as possible. Now we don't want to fill these all the way up to the top. We want to leave some airspace, and that's for a couple reasons. Number one, when we seal it, we want some space between the seal and the food, so if we open one up, then this is especially prevalent when you're using a single bag inside a bucket. We leave a little space. If we're careful how we open it back up, we can then reseal the bag by leaving a lot of space. Another reason is I like to put another square bag on top. So I'll have 3-gallon bags here, then I'll put another gallon on top, and then I'll put the lid. So we got to be real careful not to fill them completely to the top. But as you can see, I've got about 2/3 of the bucket full. Okay, we've got most of our food done. Actually, we've run out of buckets. If you'll see, when we filled up a bucket, we used a variety of foodstuffs in the bucket. We didn't just put all of one commodity in a bucket. We do that for a couple reasons. Number one, in the event that maybe have a flood or bugs or something, fire maybe, destroys 1 or 2 buckets, we don't lose all of one thing. If I put all the sugar in a 5-gallon bucket and then lost that 1 bucket, we're out of sugar. So by putting, say in here we've got rice and beans, that also makes, you know, one type of recipe, or the wheat and the sugar. By putting the different items in the single buckets, we spread out our risk. Okay, so we've finished loading up all the buckets. We've already sealed the sugar. We've sealed the sugar without the oxygen absorbers, because if you use oxygen absorbers with sugar, it turns hard like a brick, and so we didn't want to do that. So sugar stays good. There's no real shelf life on it as long as moisture stays away, because the sugar content's too high for bacteria with no moisture. So we've already sealed up the sugar. Before we started with, you know, the gear that takes the oxygen absorbers, when you open the oxygen absorbers, they only have a 20-minute or so approximately oxygen absorbing time. So when you first take them out of the package and you put them in the jar, you know, you put them in here and you seal them, and then while they're sealed up to suck the air out, they're only good for about 20 minutes. So you want to do this all at one time so you can use as many of these as possible. So once we do this, what we're going to do is we're going to open it up, we're going to fill all of these up, and then we're going to seal them with the board and the iron. And what we're going to do is fold these over, pull it as tight as possible, and then hit them with the iron. With no further ado, we're going to seal up our bags. And you can see it sucked all the oxygen out. You'll hear it, listen. Take 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. If you're using a moisture absorber and desiccant at the same time, you want to spread these out. Usually you'll put one on the bottom and then fill it up, and then put the oxygen absorber on the top. You don't want to put your desiccant, your moisture absorber, next to your oxygen absorber. Use them two together, they will degrade each other and make each one not as effective. Now this would be a lot simpler if we were pulling it out, but I want to keep it kind of close to the bucket so that it keeps the same size of the bucket. You can see I need a little bit of help for doing this. There you go. I'm going to hit that with the iron. There you go. There you go. It's real important that you have one continuous seal. If it moves, see how that seals up? Just like on a potato chip bag, which is basically, this is just a thicker version of a potato chip bag. If you notice, we've done this pretty high, close to the top, left a lot of airspace here, because we could reuse this bag, say, you know, a year from now, because you eat what you store what you eat. A year from now, we need a little harder than wheat. I find the bucket that's got it, open it up, I cut this open. If I cut real close to this line, take some wheat out, I could reseal it a little lower and keep doing that till it's empty. So that's what all that food looks like in buckets. We'll put lids on there once we get lids, and we'll show you how to do that at a later date. So, this is David from the Shepherd School. If you've got any questions, just go to our website. You can email us. It's www.tngun.com. That's tngun.com. And then follow the link for the preparedness blog. Thank you very much.